The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. This is Josh LeMaster. I'm one of the founders and also the Chief Financial Officer of Perfect Golf Event. And I appreciate everybody taking some time to learn a little bit about rain insurance today. And I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday weekend. I'm going to introduce in a moment here Eric with Vortex Weather Insurance. But before we get going, I just want to give everybody a little context to why you're hearing about this and why Perfect Golf Event is involved in the discussion. But so this is our 10th year, and we've worked with tens of thousands of events all around the country and all different shapes and sizes. And we were always looking for ways that those events could reduce their risk. And a lot of our events, it's a once a year fundraiser, and it's important to them. And we found that some of the standard event cancellation insurance was a little bit tedious for our events, either in getting the coverage or filing a claim. And then we learned about Vortex, and I'll let Eric tell you about Vortex. But before we do, a couple of housekeeping things. You should see a little control panel on your dashboard. You're welcome to jump in there with chat and questions. I'll jump on the chat in a second here, so you'll see it pop up at you. And we'll certainly allow some time at the end for questions. Everything you see is going to be shared with you by email just after we stop today. You'll get a video recording of everything you're seeing and hearing. You'll also get a PDF of the presentation and of course the contact information for both me and Eric. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to either of us. And if you want to really learn about rain insurance, Eric's going to be your best resource. So all of that said, I really appreciate Eric taking the time to take us through this, and I'm going to turn it over to him, and we'll come back at the end with cover any of your questions that I see on the chat.
Josh, thank you so much. Welcome back from hopefully a wonderful holiday weekend with everyone. My name is Eric Anderson. I run sales for Vortex Weather Insurance. We've got a big group today, so that's exciting. As Josh said, we're gonna roll through the slides here, and I'm gonna introduce our product in about 20 minutes, and then followed with a little Q&A. But while you're on our webinar today, I'd like you to think about whether you're a first-time organizer or you've been doing this for 5, 10, 20 years, the effect of rain and how it can potentially hurt your overall revenue projections and what you're trying to achieve for your charity or memorial, etc. So we've been, this is our 4th year with Josh and Perfect Golf. They're the best in the business. We look forward to many more years with them and building out our business. Also, we've introduced a new product with upgrades with Perfect Golf, where if you have either the Eagle, Double Eagle, or Ace, you have weather insurance on a very small level, but it's part of your upgrade package, and we can talk about that as well. But what we'd like to do is introduce you to the product and then potentially have you understand it, and then maybe purchase more for your total number for your event. So we'll get to that. But welcome, everyone. We've got a big group from around the country. It's exciting. And thanks again for attending today. So we like to say, don't let bad weather slice into your club's bottom line. You can't predict the weather, but you can help protect your business from it. There's a myth out there. Insurance agencies don't know weather. Turns out we're weather nerds. Our team has over 100 years of combined experience in the weather risk management industry, and we've been helping protect events since 2008 using data-driven policies that mitigate risk. A little bit about us. Vortex Insurance Agency is a subsidiary of MSI Guaranteed Weather. They've been around for 25 years. It's a weather risk management fund out in Kansas City. And since 2008, Vortex Weather Insurance has specialized in insurance products for outdoor events, so fairs and festivals and concerts, soccer tournaments, jumpy castles, zoos, racetracks, you name it. I just did a couple rodeos over the last couple of weeks. And then in 2009, we started offering protection for all kinds of charity events, golf properties, country clubs, 1- and 2-day events. I write policies for very small events all the way up to the PGA Tour and everything in between. And then we're asked who is our carrier, and that's Mitsui Sumitomo. They're rated A+ best as well, so they're our paper. So here's a picture of me. Nice to meet everyone. I am the National Director of Sales. Before that, and I'm still in it, I've been in the weather derivatives space for over 20 years. So I traded weather. I've done a lot of hedging around the world. I was actually the broker for Guaranteed Weather in Kansas City for over 15 years. So I did all their global trading. And before that, I played golf professionally. I worked at Augusta National when I used to tour. So I'm in the golf space. I played in a lot of tournaments as an amateur, as a professional. I've run tournaments. So I know the pain points of what you're going through, whether you're just starting and you kind of don't know where to go. And that's, again, where Josh and his team can really, really help you and grow your tournament. But I can help you from the weather insurance side and really explain to you what's needed so you're protected for the right amount of hours, the right amount within your budget. And I can help you with all those things. So here's another myth. In the golf business, you can't fight Mother Nature, and we say not so fast. You can stand up to Mother Nature and help protect your revenue with Vortex. Across the country, savvy golf course operators and tournament organizers are using rain insurance as a risk management hedge. And as a hedge, you want to think about, your anticipated heavy play periods. We can do seasonal and monthly hedges for everyone on the call here today that might be at a country club. You might have member guests. You might run 5, 6, 7 events for your charity. I see a lot of names on our list today, so we've got kind of a broad depth of people. So we could do all those kinds of things for you. Monday golf outings, Thursday golf outings. Golf outings that go into galas in the evening as well. Holiday weekends, we just did a bunch of events for July 4th. Fireworks, we can hedge those. We've done that before as well. Members, member guests. So keep all those things in mind. And after the call, I look forward to hearing from you. We'll get on a call, or you can send me your information via email, and I can get some information sent to you. So what's at risk when you're having these tournaments or pro-ams or member guest outings? It's your overall revenue and what your target is and all the pieces that go into hitting that number. Okay, whether it's drone drops, everything's included. So, when you're thinking about your equation, what's going to hurt that? Well, if rain comes, people leave, or they don't even show up in the first place. So what I do is I help understand that with you, and then we show you several different structuring options that you can pick from, and we educate you on rain amounts, the kinds of rains that might affect your clientele, because all the events are different. There's some events where people come and they'll play all day regardless of rain. There's some events where people, they won't show up if there's a drop. So I can help you understand those kinds of things and work with you to find the sweet spot with the right threshold, the right hours, and then obviously within the budget. Okay, so this is a very important slide here. Rain insurance versus P&C insurance. The chance of sustaining an adverse rain occurrence for a golf event is significantly greater compared to traditional P&C, auto, accident, fire, etc. So here's the chance of a potential insurance claim on a single day over a 20-year period, 0.015 and 0.003, hopefully. So rain insurance versus P&C insurance. As a comparison, here's the chance of 1/4 of an inch of rain falling on any single day between June and August. significantly greater just in those 3 months, right? So these numbers are much higher. So there's a myth out there that rain insurance is complex, and the good news is that we make it very simple. And this is how it works. Rain insurance is parametric. So what does that word mean? That means that rain insurance is triggered simply if the recorded rainfall at your location meets or exceeds the threshold listed in the policy during the coverage period. Proof of loss or event cancellation is not necessary for the policy to trigger and pay a claim. So this is index-based. If it rains a quarter of an inch, you have your event, everybody plays through, it triggers, you have a policy for $20,000, you get your money, and you get to have your event. So when you're deciding on the rain thresholds and your clientele and the time of year, I can help you kind of find that threshold where it makes the most sense. So you're covered in a perfect scenario. And a perfect scenario is if you have a sunny day and you max out your day. That's ultimately what you want. However, whether it's for the full amount or for partial amount, I can help educate you on why you should look at certain levels for certain amounts. Also, we have a quick and simple claim processing system where if you have a triggering event, your check is mailed within 2 weeks, sometimes even shorter. And again, the process works like this. After your event, we get an expiration report from WeatherWorks. That's an hourly report. Our data analysts and meteorologists in-house, they look at the data to make sure that it's correct. And if there is a triggering event, we send you the check. Regardless of if there's any rain or not, you, the customer, will still get an expiration report. Okay, so how rain insurance works. So Vortex uses the WeatherWorks claim determination system. When I get to meet you, I will be sending you a PDF that explains the hyperlocal methodology that the recordings are made, how they're made. We basically come right down in and around your property. And there's several different ways of how they measure. So instead of being at an airport, say 5 miles or 10 miles away, where you have basis risk in the reading because of the distance, we ultimately almost eliminate that because we're coming right down on top of your golf course. Again, we provide recorded hourly precipitation as little as 0.01. We have triggering rainfall thresholds as low as 1/10 of an inch of rain. And I want to go back to this slide because we're actually going to be coming out with a new product soon, and it's going to be called an escalator product. So if you did buy 1/4 of an inch and you pay for the escalator product, you would get paid on every single escalation of rain all the way up to 1/4. So if instead of just buying as an option, instead of say you bought 1/4 of an inch and you bought the escalator and it rained 0.14 on the way to 0.25, you would get a prorated amount, okay, of the total limit that you purchased. And so that's going to be released, it's coming soon. Okay, the different kinds of policy options. Shotgun coverage, we all know that. You have a shotgun, you have your everybody there. 12 o'clock shotgun, everybody goes to their tees. They hopefully play in less than 5 hours. Hopefully it's less than 4.5. Then we have extended hours of coverage. So this is, sometimes I run 2 day, or I write for multi-event days. So they might have a shotgun in the morning, a shotgun in the afternoon, or I have a lot of events that say if they had a 10 o'clock shotgun, they'll buy 2 to 3 hours beforehand. And this is why. It adds to the premium. However, if it did rain prior to when the first ball was in the air and you had the 10 o'clock shotgun, okay, what's the price of losing, say, 20 or 30% of the golfers and the amount of money that they would be spending at your event? I can show you what an extra hour would cost, an extra 2 hours, an extra 3 hours. Sometimes people, what they'll do, customers, is they'll buy 3 o'clock in the morning all the way up to noon, because there's a lot of contracts that might only, have some understanding where if you play through 9 holes, then you're basically you're good for the day. So I have a lot of events that buy pre-hours before the first balls in the hour, and I could show you what that costs as well. And then the ladder coverage, which is basically the more that it rains, as it rains through different thresholds, the more that you're paid back. So it's different than the escalator, but I'll show you that here in a second. Okay, parametric options. The hours of coverage. Hours can vary per day for multi-day events. Rain thresholds, again, as low as 0.10. We can, that's for obviously very, very low amounts. That's going to be more expensive than, say, an inch of rain, where, you know, seldom does that happen, but sometimes people want complete washout protection. It's much cheaper, but we can do everything in between there. The limits can be varied by day. I write 2 policies a day sometimes, but I can work with you. People say, Eric, can I see 10,000, 15, and 20 of coverage? That's easy for me to do, and I want to provide those options for you so you can see the premium changes. Okay, the hourly data. The use of hourly data allows us to concentrate only on the hours when rainfall could negatively impact business operations. Again, what I was just touching on. When people are potentially getting up in the morning and they see a lot of rain and they don't come, if you don't buy those hours, they're not included in the total aggregate of the amount of hours, right? So I'd rather you buy the hours on the front end if you're trying to cut some money for your budget than the back end, because if people are wet and they're coming down 15 or 16 and the rain is too much, they're going to go inside and hopefully spend money at the lunch or brunch or dinner and have cocktails and spend money at your silent auction and the raffle and those kinds of things. Okay, here's some data. Back in 19 here in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, where the Players is. This is in July. You can see that the rain is in the afternoon, heavier percentage-wise than the morning, right? We can provide you with, you know, some data like this if it helps you understand, and I can walk you through these kinds of scenarios. Here's another myth: rain insurance is too expensive, and in reality, our team works for you to create a policy that fits your needs and budget. If you said, Eric, I need 5 or 6 hours, okay, can you shave an hour off the back? Can you shave 2 hours off the back and add an hour to the front? We can push and pull hours. We can show you the different thresholds and how it affects the amount of premium. Obviously, you know, morning time is usually less expensive than the afternoon. That's just based off of statistical analysis and probability. But again, when I get on the phone with you or work with you through email, I'll show you how all of that works. So the geographic locations, the seasonality, time of day, you know, Josh and I live down here in Florida. It rains a lot in the afternoon, sometimes just for 5 or 10 minutes. And it rains more in the summer than it does in the winter. Geographic location, it's going to rain less in Arizona than it does in Florida. I think we all understand that. The duration of the risk period, obviously more hours is going to be more expensive, and the amount insured. And I could push and pull those numbers to find that sweet spot that makes the most sense for you and your event. Okay, so here's a pricing example of just 5 hours in February down in South Florida on $10,000. So in option A, this customer, if they bought 0.20, they paid $420. That means that in the hours between 10 and 3, if the total amount of rain hits 0.20 or higher, they're paid $10,000. It's really that simple. The rain can come at 10:01. It can come at 2:59. You can get blasted for 10 minutes at 12 o'clock and then be sunny on either side of that. It doesn't matter when the rain comes. It's the total amount in the hours that you buy. And if it equals the threshold you purchased or higher, you're paid. This is our standard style of insurance. Here's our ladder insurance. So in this example, on $150,000 of coverage in February, you pay one premium. So if it were to rain and go through 0.20 and not touch 0.33, the customer would get 10% of the limit, which is $15,000. If it were to rain through 0.33 and not touch 0.5, you get the 15 and 45, so you get 60,000. So the more that it rains, the more that you're paid back. So the heavier the rain, people start to leave. They're not spending as much. So you can understand the metrics of the potential loss, and then hopefully the payment will click in and make up for that loss. Okay, so here's a 3-day event. Each day was different from coverage period. They kept the same threshold, this customer that I've dealt with for a lot of years and done a lot of different deals for different member guests and events. So they kept it from 11 to 7, their first day, a lot of hours, 0.33. The limit was the same. Each of these days are independent of the other. So the first day could trigger, the next day could be sunny, and the third day could trigger. So we can get creative for you if you have multi-day events, or if you have a big gala. So we're starting to see a lot of pickleball golf days that are being put together. So sometimes they'll have kind of a combination as they're looking at the different revenue targets for both of those, the pickleball and the golf at the same day. So here's a customer that we've worked with for a lot of years. He did have a rain date. So I get asked that all the time, or they say, Eric, you know, we've got a rain date, so we're good. Why would we want to buy insurance? Well, here's an example where he bought a policy for just under $700. He got the $25,000 in less than 2 weeks, and he turned around and he bought weather insurance for his event rather. Because it was outside the 2-week window. So typically, within a year's time frame, it's hard to reschedule. And even if you do reschedule, usually the event, it doesn't meet up to the standards of your original date. It's hard to get people to commit to 2 dates. So what you could do is potentially buy for the first, or maybe buy 50% coverage in the event that happens, and then hopefully, you know, that it doesn't rain, but we can get really creative in helping you even when you have a rain date. So here are some customers that we've worked with through the years, different professional PGA sections. We've worked with the PGA Magazine group. We've written a lot of policies for them and the NFL alumni. On the professional side, the PGA Tour, the Travelers, that was just a few weeks ago. They just did our 3rd year with us. I'm actually leaving tomorrow for the Dick's Sporting Goods up in Endicott, New York. They had a 6-figure payout last year, Champions Tour event. So they buy for the whole week. Folds of Honor, different sections across the country. They buy from us year over year. Buffalo Group does our marketing, and again, Perfect Golf. They're the best in the business, and they can help you grow your event. So I would really lean on Josh and their team if you're looking for different ideas or how to strengthen your event. Get on the phone with their team. They're fantastic. So Josh, as we here's some testimonials. As we can get ready to conclude, are there any questions that people they raise their hand?
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Appreciate the presentation, great as always. And I do see a couple of questions on the chat. Before I dive into that one, we cover one thing. You may have noticed if you've worked with Perfect Golf Event in the past that we now have some Vortex rain coverage included as part of your Perfect Golf Event upgrade packages. So if you have upgraded to an Eagle or higher package, you will get some level of Vortex coverage, maybe $1,500 to $2,500 in coverage. So it might not cover your full fundraising effort, but or everything you need to cover, but at least it'll get you started, and you can learn more about Vortex as part of just being a Perfect Golf Event customer. And of course, Eric's happy to talk to you about increasing that coverage if you need to. So with that said, let me analyze this question here and combine it with another question. So timing, Eric. So a lot of our events come on board, maybe 90 or 120 days before the event, and they've got a lot to do. So when should they focus on it, and does that impact the pricing? Is the other question.
Yeah, Two good questions there, Josh. Thank you. So we always encourage groups to make weather insurance a line item, and embed that into your total event. And I can help you price that well in advance. So if I were to price your event today, you would have a 45-day lock on that price. Once that changes past the 45 days, I can reprice it. And so, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. It's not going to deviate that much, okay? But we do encourage it. I understand that a lot of events have to wait until certain sponsors come in because of funding and budgets. I get it, and I respect it, and we can help you with that. But again, if you can go ahead and put that in place on the front end, we do encourage that. Typically, pricing does go up rather than go down. But again, the pricing is based off of statistical analysis and historical probability. A question that I'm asked every day, 10 times a day, is when's the last day that we can purchase? And that day is 15 days from your event date. And if that happens to fall on a weekend, it's got to be on the Friday before. So we're very strict. We have a corporate policy, and that's so you can't cherry pick the forecast. But again, towards the end, we get around that 15-day. I can help you make sure that we get you bound up.
All right, Eric, thank you for that. I've got a post-event question. So basically the question, what do they need to send to you to prove that it rained?
Yep, another great question. And you don't have to, and that's the beauty of what we provide is you don't need to show proof of loss. What we do as a company is we work with WeatherWorks. And so every hour on the hour within the policy that you bought, we send you an expiration report after we receive it from WeatherWorks. Whether there was no rain or if you did indeed have a payout. Our data analysts and meteorologists in-house, they look at it. And this usually comes between 3 and 5 business days, depending if there's a weekend involved after your event date is done. So we get the report, we look at it internally, and then we send you, the customer, a report. So you have it and you can see it.
Yeah, once again, if you're on an Eagle or higher perfect golf event software package, you're going to get one of those after your event, so you'll be able to see a sample of what a post-event rain expiration report looks like. And I think we have gotten all the questions done. So everybody, I appreciate you taking time on a Monday after a holiday to learn more about rain insurance, and I will certainly be sending you an email here in just a few minutes with a copy of everything, and feel free to respond back if I can answer any questions following the webinar. And Eric, I'll let you say goodbye.
Thanks, Josh. Thank you, everyone. Large group after July 4th weekend. I appreciate you learning more about Vortex Weather Insurance. Please email me, give me a call. Let me help you just at least look at some of the options that we can provide. And if there's any follow-up questions that you have, just get in touch with me, and I look forward to meeting you. Everybody have a great day, and thanks again.
Thank you all.